Alrighty, so let's get into today's no-code tutorial to build a simple remove background app using Flutterflow, Replicate AI, and Supabase for the storage. We'll be using, for the model, we'll be using this remove background model here on Replicate. We'll be using, if you come down here, you'll see the information needed to set up the API on Flutterflow. And then when we upload an image, that will be uploaded to Supabase storage. So let's step through just real quick how it all works, and then we'll step through how to set it up. So we'll upload an image. We'll just use my profile picture. Shout out to Clay Nations. What's happening here is that is getting uploaded to Supabase storage. The URL associated with that image will be passed through to the API, which will get triggered once we click this button. So there's actually two APIs that are set up that will be run once we click this button. So we'll click this button, and what is happening is we are triggering the first API call, which is a post request that will activate the Replicate AI model. And then what is happening in the background is we'll be running a second API call periodically every 5 seconds until the outputted file is complete, and then we'll return that. And then, as you can see, it will be displayed in the Flutterflow UI. So in a nutshell, that's the app. But before we dive into the how, I'll quickly show you what is actually the action, workflow action, which is happening behind the scenes. So we'll come here. So if we go to this button and we click on the action flow editor, this is what it is. So as I mentioned, we run the first API call to start the prediction, or Replicate, they call it they call them prediction. So we make that prediction, and then if that is successful, that first API call, then it runs through this path. And in this block here is a periodic action, and this is everything within this block is being run every 5 seconds. And within this block, you can see this one here is the second API that we're calling. So what is happening here is we're checking to see if that outputted file on Replicate is complete. If it is not complete, it comes down here, it gets terminated, and then this process runs again in 5 more seconds. If this does run and the outputted file is complete, then it goes down this path, and then that periodic action is terminated. So that's kind of what is happening. If you're interested in seeing how this all works using Flutterflow, Replicate AI, and Supabase, then feel free to stick around. And without any further ado, let's get into it. Alrighty. So let's start piecing things together. So what we will do is set up the API call first. So we'll do new Replicate remove background. Okay, so we come back to here. HTTP. Okay, so this is kind of the stuff we want. So am I logged in? Yep. So we take this one. That is this API URL. So we plug that in there, and let's just come back and so it's a post request. So that's this. We change that to post. There's authorization header. So we'll take that. Add header. Let's just do this. Okay, so let's just open a new tab. So once you go to Replicate, if you haven't already, you're gonna have to create an account, obviously. We will need our secrets, our secret keys and whatnot that we can put in here, this authorization. So every person has a different every account has a different API kind of authorization token, and you add it to the header under authorization, and that's, I guess, how they connect to your specific account and to make sure that you have the right access. So where is it? So we go to explore. No, not explore. API tokens. Copy. Don't steal this, bruh. I'll probably blur it if I can be bothered. The next header is this one here. So content type application JSON. Okay, let's just add call just to save it. Okay, so this is the body. So let's just copy that and add it to the body. So we'll come to the body, we'll change it to JSON format. Oops, missed one. Okay, so the version that can remain the same, that's just the model that it's using. So that remains the same. If we come to the next sections, we have the input. So that's the image. So if we come here, this will probably make more sense as we step through it, but we upload an image from our device. That image will be stored on Supabase storage. You'll see a little preview once it's loaded. That image will create a variable for, and it's that image that URL, so the URL of that image on Supabase storage, that will be this. All right, so that will be a variable. So they receive that image and then do their work on the back end from there. So we add variable, we come here, image. This will just be a string. Okay, save. And then we'll come here and this will just come down here. Okay. Format. Okay. And that should be kind of it for that first part of it. There's two steps to this API call. There's a post and then there's a get request. So the post is, it triggers that AI model, it produces an output, and then we need to do another API call to get that output and then bring it back to the app and to the UI. So for this first step, we'll just come back to storage, and I'm just going to create a new image storage bucket. Sure, that's fine. Fine for now. Okay, YouTube bucket. So I'm going to just upload a test file for now. So pictures. I'm going to upload my profile picture. This is just so that I can do a test, test the API. So as you can see, I've uploaded this image and it has a URL associated with it. So I've just copied that. And if you come here, we'll do a little test run. You'll see that that image is there. Okay, so if we come back to the Flutterflow API call, so this is the image variable that we created earlier. So the variable, that variable is then placed into this JSON body here. So image variable, the value's got to be this string. So what we're going to do is just test this API call. You can see here that it has worked. And if you actually come back to replicate dashboard, you should be able to see that 9 seconds ago, there was they call them predictions that was created. Okay, so that's the first part. Now, what we have to do in addition to the GET request is you can see that it has outputted the result, but we don't currently have access to that at the moment. We have to run another API, a GET request, in order to receive the outputted file. But if you come down here, these are the JSON paths that are returned from this first post request. The ones that we will need are, let's go status. What else? And then the get. This, okay, so we need a couple of JSON paths. So we need the status, we need the, let's just call this URLs get. This is the URL that we will need in order to get the result, the outputted result from the next API call. And we also need the ID. So the ID, the URLs get, and then the status. So the ID we need because that will be a variable for the next API call so that we can correctly match the API calls. The next step, let's just come to here. Let's come to the HTTP API docs, get a prediction. Okay, so coming down here. So we've come back, we'll go to the top. So this API call, we have, let's change it to create prediction, remove background. That's this, or create prediction. This is what we just have set up. The next part is to get the prediction. So you can see here, this is what the URL will be. So let's set that up. So let's just save that. Get prediction. Remove background. Let's just be consistent. Get API URL. And what we'll do is we'll create a variable, and to do that we just put it in these sorts of brackets. So the ID we will grab from this first API call. As you remember, we had created a JSON path which had the ID of that particular API call. We will then use that ID and then add that to this API URL. Okay, so we need to do the same. Let's just add call. What's this? Oh, okay, so all right, ID. Actually, ID. String ID, specific value from variable ID. Now we can do it. Okay, let's just come back here and grab all of this because we'll need that as well. Add header. Save. Okay, save. Okay, and that's pretty much good to go. So what we'll do is we'll test to see, come back here, we'll go to dashboard, we'll grab the ID because the ID is actually on this one. So this is, as you can see, 6 minutes ago, this is what we created. This is the ID, so let's grab that. And let's plug that in here, and then we will test it. And you can see it's returned some information, success. This output file is what we want ultimately. Copy that just to do a test. There's the image. Okay, so that's what we want, and that's what's shown here actually. Okay, so coming down to, again, once we do a test, it provides some, all of this JSON, each line here is a path, and we can save those to easily reference later, like within the Flutterflow app. So we want output, definitely. And we want ID. I think we want status as well. Okay. Yep, save. Okay, and now we have those two API calls set up. Now we need to hook everything up to the UI, and then we can do another test. Okay, so first step, we need to upload an image. So for that, we need to connect this project with our Supabase. So we need to come back here to Supabase, enable Supabase. We need an API URL and an anon key. So let's come back here. Project settings, API. Project URL, that's that, I think. And then this one, and on public, that's that. So get schema. And we've only got one successfully pulled in that information. You can see here on the tables, we only have a profiles table at the moment. All right. Okay, so that's that. So we're good there. Okay, get schema. So what we need to do, first we will just create a page state. So we'll come here, we'll create image uploaded. This will be a Boolean. So image uploaded, yes or no, or true or false. Those are the two options. So by default, this is going to be false. All right, image uploaded, when they load the page, it'll be false. Okay, so we just need to, we'll reference that fact throughout in these action flows. So set that up. Okay, now we come here, open up the editor, upload. So first we want to upload an image. So we'll upload it to, wait, hold up, upload type to Supabase. The bucket, so we come here. The bucket is this, so YouTube. There's the bucket, so we'll just come here, YouTube. And then YouTube, and then this, look here. I think we can just do image. Okay. Media source, so this is where we're uploading from. So we'll just do our gallery. So whatever images that we have on our device. And then the name of this uploaded image. Okay, so now we are going to update the page state. So remember the page state was image uploaded. So now we have uploaded the image. So we can change that to true because the image is now uploaded. Okay, so that's that part of the process. And now from this one, we are going to this is going to show that uploaded image. So set it to network, and then the path will be the widget state, which is the widget state of that, uploaded file URL. Okay, so that's got to display that when it's loaded. And what I'll do is put it conditional, so that only shows once it's actually there's something there. Come here. So yeah, single condition. So this image will have an image if the image has been uploaded. So the page state will provide us with that information. If the page state is equal, the image uploaded is equal to true, that means there will be an image there. So we'll come to page state, image uploaded. If that's equal to true, then show it. That's the condition. Alrighty. That's that. Coming back here. So let's just make another page state. So we've got image uploaded. Now we need to do prediction loading. Boolean false. Prediction loading, confirm. Oh, must be camel case. Prediction loading. Okay. Okay, remove background. Let's begin. First one, calling an API. So we want to go to backend API call. We are calling create prediction first. Step one, set the variables. There's a variable, remember? The variable is the image. We're getting this image URL based on the image that was uploaded to Supabase. So we'll come here. We do that from uploaded file URL. That's when we did the previous step, that uploaded to Supabase, that information is stored, and that's what that is. Okay. API output, let's just call this one make output. Sure, that is okay. All right. Okay, if it is false, hasn't succeeded, let's just do an alert. Informational dialog error. Error, that's fine. And then we can terminate. Okay, if it comes down here, we are going to start periodic action. And that's going to happen every 5 seconds or 5,000 milliseconds. Step one. Okay, so we will update the page state. State management, update page state. We are going to do prediction loading, changing that, setting that value to true. So that's true because we've made the first API call. If it succeeded, that means that process has started. Okay, so that's why we're doing that. Prediction loading, yes. The next one is we're going to make another API call. So backend API call and get prediction. Okay, so we've successfully did the make prediction API call. Now we need to get the result. So this one, we're going to come to ID. So we need the ID. And we can get that ID based on the information from the first API call. So we come here, go to action output. So the action output from this action output, make output, that's what we called it, remember? API response, JSON body. And as we discussed earlier, we had predefined the path, and that predefined path is ID. So we want to grab that, bruh. Okay. And that now has that. Let's just change this to get output. Okay. Succeeded. Okay, so once we make that API call, okay, so let's just step through this real quick. When we do the posts requests, the whole process of replicate, removing the background starts. That may, from start to finish, it may take 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 65 seconds. It's hard to know, maybe 15 seconds, but we don't know exactly when that process will be finished. And so that's why we need to go through a periodic function and just check. 25 seconds we check, is it done? No. 30 seconds, done? No. 45 seconds, done? Yes. Okay. This action, when we make this API call, that get request is pretty much checking, is the output done? Is the output done? Yes. Is the output done? No. If no, terminate this and then check again in 5 seconds. Is the output done? No. Terminate, restart again. Output done? Yes. And now we can finish it. Okay, so that's what this is. Actually, we want to check, we want to change this actually, because this needs to be, this doesn't actually cut it. We want to be more specific. So we come to the JSON body, JS predefined path. Hold up. Okay, so for some reason it's not working. Get prediction. Let's just come up. Output. Let's run this again. Test API call. So we want a list. I think we have to change this to a list. And then it should work. Okay, so good bug fixing there. Okay, let's come through here. What we want to JSON body, JSON path, no, predefined path. Hold up. Oh, we need to save it. God damn it. We want to go get, list string, save. That's a list string. Coming back here. This is close, come back. JSON body, predefined path, output. Okay, so that's important to know. So we need to change that JSON path to a list, and then we can correctly check it in here. So, okay, predefined path output, list is set and not empty. That's what we're checking for. If that output string, that list, has something in there, then we go down this path. If it doesn't, we come down this path. And this one, we're just going to add a termination. Okay, so this one, we just need to update the page state. Update page state. Prediction loading is now set value to false. And then we will stop periodic action, terminate. And then I think that's it. So that's the workflow. What's this saying? We need it. Okay. So coming down here, we need to say which periodic action we're closing. So instant timer. Okay. All the bugs are gone. All right. One thing we want to do is once we start that process is a bit of time. So we need to, what we want to do is just make the user aware that something is happening in the background. So for that, let's just get a Lottie animation. And I'll just steal that from here actually, because I've already got one. Lottie animation, let's just copy that. Okay, so we'll come here, type in Lottie, drag that under. Sure, that works. Change this, the path, so you can get these different ones from the Lottie website, and just grab the JSON, this path, and then it just kind of brings it up. But what we want to do here is we only want to show this when the loading has, if we come to the paid state, prediction loading is true. Okay, so conditional first value page state prediction loading is equal to true, then it will show. If not, it won't show. So let's just, we won't show that anymore, but we know that it's there. Yeah, okay. Okay, so now this image is going to display the result. So that result is going to be, so we come here, that's going to be an action output, get output. This is going to be JSON body. This is going to be the predefined path. This is going to be the output. This is going to be item filter list items. Oh no, we want to do item at index, the first. So when it returns, it's kind of treating it as if it's a list. And so it's just going to be the first in the list. There's some where it actually returns multiple URLs. So then you'll need to, I guess, adjust for that. But for this case, it's just going to be the first within that list, that URL. So we'll go confirm. And again, for this one, this visibility will be conditional. This is only going to show if the output file is, if there is an output file. So conditional, single condition. So we want to check the action output, get output. If the API response, the JSON body, if the predefined path, if the output, if that is set and not empty, then we will show it. If not, we won't show it. Okay, so let me just step through here. So we've got that, we've uploaded the image. This will display that image. This visibility is conditional, or only will show it if that image, if the page state image uploaded is equal to true. If not, it won't show. Once the image is uploaded, you'll get a little thumbnail preview here. We can remove the background of that image. That will trigger that workflow, which will trigger sequentially the two different API calls that we set up earlier, and it will poll the different, it will poll that second API until there is an output that we need. That will then return the image URL and replicate, and that will then be displayed here. And this will only show once that output path has something in it. Okay, so I think that is actually all set up, I think. So let's give it a preview. Oh, not what we want. Homepage widget. That must be, it will be due. Okay, let's come back. Okay, I've loaded it again and it's working. What I did, so I made some changes. I'll quickly step through them. The page states, each of these I made nullable. Then also for this, I think I've changed it back to is the list set and not empty. So the output JSON path, the one that will receive the image, the final image URL, is that path empty or is it full? If it's not empty, so it has information, then this will be displayed. So list is set and not empty is equal to true. So I made those changes and it worked. So let's give it a test. Upload an image. Go to our gallery. So this at the bottom here, let's go to just my profile picture. Okay, so that hasn't updated this here. Let's just see if it's actually updated. So we come back to YouTube image. Okay, so it hasn't done that. Okay, let's just quickly check what's going on here. So image upload. Upload media to Supabase. Upload type Supabase. Yep. We're going to YouTube. And we're going to the folder path, which is image. Reload. Ah, okay, I think I know why. I see. Okay, I think I might need permissions. Okay, so for the YouTube bucket. Okay, new policy. Okay, so let's just name this one. Make changes. Unknown changes. Select, insert, update, delete. Bucket ID equals YouTube. Okay, so let's come back here, refresh, reload again. I'm just coming back just to make sure that this is YouTube image, YouTube image. Okay. One more reload. Okay, so let's give it a try again. And as you can see, we've got the preview there. If we come here and we reload, we have the image there. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now, so just for future, what I did was just needed to provide that it was a permissions issue. I wasn't permitted to make any changes. So you have to, those permissions are based on policies that you create. For me, I just did, created the policy name and allowed just all of these operations and just did it to anyone. So that's pretty much what happened there. Okay, so we've uploaded the image. Now we need to test this. So fingers crossed it works. But what should be happening in the background is we click that, calls the first API. That will change the page state to prediction loading. Then the little Lottie loading animation should show. And then in the background, we're just going to be keep checking, is the output ready? Every 5 seconds, is the output ready? When it is ready, it will then display that image on the image widget. Okay, let's go. Okay, it's loading, so that's good. See how long that takes. looks like something's happening. There we go. It's back. It's just cropped. All right, but that's kind of how it works. For this current version, which is just a simple version on how to set it up. This is kind of the basics, but if you want me to do a more complex version of this, what we can do is probably makes sense to do it as a web app potentially, but we can integrate it further with Supabase so that these images that we create, in this case we're removing the background, we can then store them on Supabase, but then have them as part of a database setup, which we can kind of grab in these sorts of things. So we could, like, for example, have a profile page, and then when we click on the profile page, it has a list view of the ones that we have, and then we can make modifications. We can create favorites, we can delete some, these sorts of things. But this one's supposed to be just a simple implementation of how to create a remove background app. I'm using Flutterflow, Replicate AI, and Supabase, just a simple version. But if you want a more complex one, let me know. Sorry if this was kind of a little bit all over the place. I just said for this one, I'm just gonna hop on and start recording and see what happens, and then refine as we go. So already I think in my head I've got a more structured way to approach these, but this is kind of the first go.